A letter arrives on a Tuesday from a law firm you have never heard of. Inside, a legal document informing you that someone has died and left you their entire estate. $10 million. In full. No conditions. There's only one problem. You have never heard of this person in your life. You don't know their name. You don't know their face. You don't know why they chose you. And now you have to decide what to do with $10 million. And the mystery that came with it. The lawyer's office is exactly what you would expect. Dark wood, thick carpets, framed certificates on every wall. The file on the desk has your name on it. A file about a person you have never met, built across decades of a life you knew nothing about until 48 hours ago. The lawyer opens it and begins to explain. The deceased was elderly. They had lived alone for most of their adult life. No children, no siblings still living, no close relationships of any kind at the end. They had worked their entire life quietly and persistently and without display. They had saved and invested with a patience that most people never manage. The fortune was not inherited, and it was not lucky. It was built dollar by dollar over 50 years of deliberate living in a modest house in a quiet neighborhood where none of the neighbors ever suspected how much was accumulating behind that unremarkable front door. And then the lawyer says something that changes everything you thought this meeting was going to be about. They tell you why you were chosen. Not from a list of charities, not randomly assigned, because of something specific, something small, something you did years ago that you have almost certainly forgotten entirely. A moment of kindness, ordinary and unremarkable and genuine. The kind of thing most people do without thinking and forget within minutes. A door held open for someone who was struggling. Help offered without being asked. A moment of real human warmth given to a stranger who was having a very difficult day and needed to see that someone could still look at them like a person. This person had watched. They had remembered. And years later, with no family to give anything to and no institutions they trusted with what they had spent a lifetime building, they had made a decision. A decision about who deserved to receive what they could no longer keep. They chose you. For a moment you don't remember, and $10 million is the result. The first rule of unexpected wealth is the same regardless of whether it came from inheritance, a lottery win, a business exit, or the will of a stranger you never met. Do nothing immediately. Make no major decisions for at least 6 months. The money is real. The temptation to act on it is real. The need to wait is more real than both of them combined. In those first 6 months, you do 3 things and 3 things only. You find a financial advisor who operates as a fiduciary, meaning someone who is legally required to act in your interest rather than their own. You find a lawyer who specializes in estate and inheritance law. And you keep your mouth as closed as you can manage, because the people in your life who do not yet know about the inheritance are, during these 6 months, still treating you exactly as they always have. That information is worth more than it sounds like it is worth. The tax reality arrives early, and it arrives firmly. Depending on the country and state you live in, somewhere between 30 and 40% of an inheritance above certain thresholds may be owed in tax before you see any of it. $10 million becomes $6 or $7 million in your actual account after the government takes its portion. Still transformative. Still more than most people accumulate in multiple lifetimes, but it is not the number on the letter. Knowing this before you start making plans prevents the specific and avoidable pain of planning for a number that does not fully exist. The requests come almost immediately after people find out. They always do. Distant relatives you have not spoken to in years. Old friends with business ideas that only need one more injection of capital to succeed. Strangers with causes that are genuinely worthy, but that you are not equipped to evaluate under this kind of pressure. Each request is individually understandable. Together, they represent the most significant test of the inheritance, because giving money to everyone who asks is the fastest way to ensure that nobody is genuinely helped, and the fortune disappears within a decade into a blur of partially funded projects and resentful relationships. Learning to say no is not cruelty. It is the condition under which the gift can actually do lasting good. After 6 months, the plan takes shape. 60% of the after-tax inheritance goes into diversified long-term investments, index funds, real estate, bonds. Exactly what the stranger themselves had done for 50 years. Boring and patient, and precisely what produced the $10 million in the first place. The money earns money. The principal is not touched. The passive income generated covers comfortable living with significant surplus remaining to reinvest. 20% goes to family. not as gifts that create dependency or fund lifestyles that were never sustainable, but as structured support for genuine needs that have been present for years. A parent's medical care secured, a sibling's crippling debt cleared, help that solves real problems rather than creating new ones dressed in the temporary feeling of luxury. 10% becomes the charitable fund, named after the stranger. Focused on causes you piece together from talking to neighbors, reading through the lawyer's files, finding notes in the papers recovered from the house. The giving continues beyond the original gift. The stranger's money keeps moving through the world long after they have left it. Their name is on the website. Their story is there for anyone who wants to read it. Some of the neighbors who knew them have read it. Some of them have cried. And the remaining 10% is for you. Not in one purchase, not in one trip. In the deliberate pursuit of experiences and projects and freedoms that you have always wanted but could not prioritize when money was the deciding factor in every choice. The life being built rather than merely decorated. 5 years after the letter arrived on that Tuesday, the invested portion has grown substantially beyond the original amount. The charitable fund has supported causes across multiple years. The family members helped are stable in ways they were not before. And you are still working. Not because you have to, because work done from choice is an entirely different thing from work done from necessity, and you understand the difference now in a way that no description could have taught you. Here is what the stranger's gift actually teaches. The lesson that sits underneath the money and outlasts any amount you could spend or invest or give away. Kindness is not transactional. It was never designed to be. Most acts of genuine human warmth produce nothing materially visible. They land somewhere in another person's experience. They matter in ways that are completely invisible to the person who gave them, and they disappear into the ordinary flow of daily life without acknowledgement or record. That is how almost every genuine act of kindness works. Most of the time, that is how it ends. But occasionally, in ways that cannot be predicted and absolutely should not be expected, they produce something that defies the normal accounting of human interaction. Not because kindness is a strategy that occasionally pays off, because the human beings who receive genuine warmth from strangers sometimes carry that warmth for a very long time, sometimes for the rest of their lives. Sometimes until the only thing left to do with it is to give it back in the most permanent and substantial form available to them. The stranger built $10 million through 50 years of patience and discipline and a quality of attention to small decisions that most people apply only to large ones. But the thing that made them choose you specifically, the thing that made them feel certain that their fortune had found exactly the right person to receive it, was free. It cost nothing. It took 30 seconds, and you have almost certainly forgotten it entirely. Every ordinary interaction is a full human story you cannot see. Every stranger in front of you is carrying something you know nothing about, and the kindness you give without thinking, without expecting anything in return, without even remembering that you gave it, lands somewhere and means something even when you will never know what or where or how much. Most of the time nothing visible comes of it, but occasionally a thick envelope arrives on a Tuesday. The handwritten letter is framed on the wall of your office. Not because you need reminding that the money exists, because you need reminding of why it arrived. You visit the grave twice a year. You don't know this person. You never will. But something passed between you. Something that changed the direction of your life. And the grave is where that something is most present and most real. The fund gives money every year to causes the stranger valued. Their name is on it. Their story reaches people who never knew they were alive. And you, the person who held a door or helped carry something or smiled at exactly the right moment in someone's very bad day, you try now to remember what that stranger taught you without ever meeting you. That every person in front of you is a full human story. That ordinary kindness is the most extraordinary thing available to anyone. That the return on genuine human warmth is completely incalculable. And that occasionally it arrives in a thick envelope on a completely unremarkable Tuesday afternoon. There are two questions worth sitting with after hearing this story. The first is the obvious one. What would you do with $10 million from a stranger? How would you allocate it? Who would you help? What would change about your life and what would stay the same? But the second question is the one that matters more. Do you know what you did to deserve it? Do you know which moment of genuine kindness from your own life, offered without strategy and forgotten almost immediately, is sitting somewhere in another person's memory right now, meaning more than you will ever be told? You probably don't know, most people don't, but it is almost certainly there.